Alright, so we got our live stream, live crypto trading video here starting out on the 12th of March. Had a massive move to the downside. We're looking for shorts. We see BTC on the 5-minute chart respecting a ascending support pretty well here. Let's just refine this trend line. And we are looking for shorts here. It does look like we are holding this support here. We're looking at Binance Coin for a possible short. We do have quite a bit of risk here, so we're going to size down because look at just risk above the previous high. We can see that it's already at 4%, something around the lines of that. So we're definitely wanting to make sure that we have solid position sizing managed, and we know exactly how much we are risking, and we have all that in check. So definitely something to keep in mind, but we still are looking to short or wanting to see that ascending trend line fail and the price come back down to potentially these lows here. Risk reward of 2 to 1 would be kind of a minimum for me that I'd be looking for. So if I'm risking 4.5%, I'd be wanting to get maybe 10% or 9.5%, something around the lines of that. And then if it goes down further, obviously that's just great, but that's just what we're looking for at this very moment. I also will just draw this zone as well, just this zone right here, because that's the current minor level of resistance we have. If it does break above that, we're probably going to go to 63, and then if it goes above that, we're going to go to 64. But for now, we're just seeing the price squeeze closer to the apex of the pattern. We're not trying to make any biases too much here. We're just wanting to let the price action do its thing and try to understand the story that it's saying and try to let it lead, and we just follow what the price is doing in a sense. We're letting, it's like, I'm not really a dancer or anything, but it's like if you're dancing, one person leads and another person follows. I don't know too much other than that about dancing, but kind of the similar way where you're letting the market lead and you are just waiting for the market to give you some hints or something as to where you go, and then you're going to take that hint and then go and trade whatever that hint is going to give you. So definitely looking bearish. You know, we definitely see that the bears have control. The bulls are not really biting at all. And overall, I think that we could see another drop at least to these lows here. It doesn't seem like much, but like we said, the risk reward is definitely worth it in our opinion. Hopefully we get a little bit higher. That would be a really good situation for us to be in. Oops. Because then we'd be risking less than 4%. It'd be like maybe 3.5, something around the lines of that. We'll see how the price reacts to these zones here. BNB looks pretty good. XRP also broke out. Link has not yet broken out of its ascending trend line. XRP is already, so we're definitely got our eyes on XRP and BNB because they've already broken the ascending trend line that we're looking to have the price break here. So theoretically, I think that would have been a better option. So now we're looking for a potential move back up here, ideally. If not, we get this previous support, new level of resistance. So we'll see how the price reacts. As well as with BTC, I will be leaving and coming back, obviously go to the washroom, get something to eat or something. So this will be a little bit longer of a stream, but like always, if you got any questions, just drop them in the comments. Mainly it's just so people understand the kind of analysis from start to finish, what we're looking for. So we got another trend zone right around there. Oops, oops. Anyways, yeah, I see that it got hit. Thank you for letting me know. So we see our first injection coming in of sell pressure from XRP and BNB. What we could do is just like that. And that's how we would be viewing the markets right there, is seeing that top resistance zone, and then we see a mid-range zone that is also being used as support and resistance, as we can see. Maybe we'll just delete that and just use one zone like we can see, like so. So we'll see how BTC reacts. We haven't broken really below this zone yet in my personal opinion. So I don't want to enter just yet, although it does look pretty good. We got our first injection of sell pressure, and then if we're able to get that second injection of sell pressure, that would for me give me a lot of validation that we could be seeing the bulls start to weaken again, and then the sellers are going to start coming and taking charge of the market, giving us another push to the downside here. So we got our first injection of sell pressure, and we see BTC coming up here for the second one. I am going to notify everyone, obviously. One dude just made enough money to retire. Lucky son of a gun, haha, indeed. Mitch, you yourself made some good money from shorting. XRP getting close. Alright, so, seeing the price come back here. Do you trust your funds held in Tether? Yeah, I currently do. The main reason why I use Tether compared to another stablecoin, if I had to pick, I think I might use Binance's stablecoin. I think is a little bit better. USDC is a good one, but the main reason why I use Tether compared to any other stablecoin is mainly because it has the highest liquidity out of any other token, stable coin. Mainly is the only reason why I use it. I like to have liquidity, obviously, because I'm a day trader, swing trader. I just like to have a lot of people buying and selling within a market, so I never have to worry about me not being able to get out of a certain market because of liquidity issues. Not a fun time, so I just try to avoid it, kind of. Not at all costs, but definitely to some degree. Okay, so we see that second injection coming in. What I'm going to do is borrow some funds here, just see what the risk is going to be. So my risk is going to be around 2.3. So let's just see. So not looking to short yet, but definitely, obviously, BTC looks a little bit weaker here. So shorting XRP is going to be a potential that we're going to be seeing here in the very short term. I'm just looking at the order book and seeing if there's any sellers coming into the market. I might start adding here because I'm just basically going to be putting a certain amount. A little bit of a bump up, that's good. Okay, so I just sold some XRP here. I will notify everyone right now. Basically right where the price is. Okay, so I'm in on that. I will notify everyone right now. The only thing that's challenging about live trading is the fact that you got to let everyone know, and especially if you're setting stop losses. I'd like to set stop losses before I let people know, because I've had situations where I didn't set stop losses. I started texting, and then shit happened. Give me 1 minute here. 3, 7, 6, 5. Okay, awesome. I just need to know exactly how much I sold, so then I know how much I'm going to buy back. Okay, and then definitely going to have to zoom in here. Okay. So then let's move this to this side. And then let's move, give me this to this side. Sorry, there's just some people talking in the background here. Okay, cool. Might be better if I actually move this to a different monitor. All right. Okay, I'm gonna post this up to people first. I gotta let them know. It's a shitty thing about just trying to explain to people what we're trading while I'm trying to actually put on the trade and basically set orders, because I haven't set my orders yet, but I'm going to take one for the team and do this really quickly and let people know. It's a shitty thing with people not joining the live and the people just on the Discord, because obviously they don't know what I'm entering and I have to type it out. While I'm trying to look at the order book. Okay, I've entered. Presses booking. Compared to the sell pressure. Okay, so that is good to go. Got that into the Discord, so Discord knows I'm now short this, so that's good to go. And then I'm going to do the rest of my entry information and all that stuff right now. Because this does take time, and you got to really make sure you're doing it properly. And it's really easy to not put it in an Excel sheet and do all this information, but that's how you're going to get better. And I tried to do that beforehand, but obviously we have to notify everyone here. Okay, 6, going down, number of, okay. Okay, cool. And then make this bigger. Okay. And it was 2.4% risk. Okay, and this is XRP. Sell on the 5-minute. It's a ascending trendline breakout on the 12th, 12:05, 12:05. Okay, cool. So that is now complete. And then a little bit of psychology. I would grade this setup as probably an A, to be completely honest, especially if we get one more no demand candle, it's an A. But right now, if we get one more no demand, that would be an A. I'd call it a solid B, this current trade. Not an exact A, but it's a pretty solid B, in my personal opinion. So we'll see where it goes. Quickly talking about the entry here. Okay, so I didn't enter this, so I'm not going to do that. Gold is still dropping. S&P looks like it's going to fall back down below the support. And our trade is looking favorable. Obviously, we are still very, very early in the trade. But let's just put in our potential risk rewards here. So we got a risk reward of 2, which is right there. Okay, let's just open it up because it makes it obviously way easier. 1.99 good enough. Visual order, bring to front. There we go. Okay, and then 3 is right there. And then 4 is right here. 4 would be a pretty phenomenal trade, but we'll see. And then, oops, let's just bring to the front. And just for 5, I don't know if we're going to hit this, but we will see. And honestly, I'm just going to close this to see how far it's able to fall. And then we'll put the price action, obviously, in the very front of the tools that we're going to be using. That's the most important thing that we should be looking at, is the price action. Cool. All right. So basically good in that department. Let's this. Okay, and then not going to move my stop loss where it is. I'm pretty happy with where it is. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the overall trade. I'm happy with where I got the entry. I'm happy with the overall position sizing, the stop loss zone, overall entry. That's kind of the main thing I can really control. For in terms of where the price goes, I can't really control that. I can obviously control the entry, the position sizing, and the risk and how I'm acting, but the overall outcome I have no say in. So I'm just doing my review here. Okay. So all we do now is just wait at this point. BTC is gaining a little bit more buy volume here, coming back up. Let's see how XRP is handling this. And we are getting more buy volume in that second candle. Something to consider. And the 5-minute candle on XRP did close green. And we did see more buy volume within the previous, or in that green candle than we did the previous candle. But we do still got quite a bit of room for our stop loss. We got around 2.4% for our stop loss zone. Let's just 0.1641. All right, another 5-minute candle to close here. I know it's a little bit boring on the YouTube live. There's 3 people. I already answered, do you trust funds held in Tether? I currently do hold funds in Tether, but like I said before, it's a little bit sketchy. The only reason why I use Tether is because of the liquidity. I would be using a different stablecoin if there was higher liquidity for them. But right now, unfortunately, they don't, so we're just sticking with US Tether. And we got our little short on XRP, seeing if it's going to dump down here. It's holding our previous support as a new level of resistance really well. We see some, not really seeing any, actually no demand candles here. But we are getting a reduction in demand, as well as BTC coming up and not being able to break back above this previous support new level of resistance. We're hoping the same thing for XRP. We could always just make a little bit more confluence with that zone right there. So hopefully we stick below that zone. BTC is, if we're looking at the 15 or 1 hour, we see that the volume is tightening. As we can see, the volume is tightening, so it does seem like there could be a big... we will want to remain patient and be cautious of a potential continuation of it just going sideways, because then we might not just want to close the trade here. But if it does, if we do start to see the momentum come in, then we'll definitely want to take action. But right now, we don't really see a whole lot of momentum to the downside much. We do have a position in XRP because, in my opinion, it did look a lot more bearish, breaking market structure, breaking price action, seeing a lot more sell volume than buy volume. Within the XRP trade, we do see no demand candles, but within our BTC trade, we don't really see, or within BTC, we don't see that many, but we're not really having a position on BTC right now. We are entered short on XRP, and that is about it at this point in time. Gold's going lower. XRP's base, or sorry, not XRP, fucking SPX is just right at the level of support there. BTC is slowly climbing up, which is not good for our trade, obviously, but we'll see how it goes. We are still below the zone. I think we could still be testing this area right here, which is not a problem. I don't mind that at all, because as long as we're sticking below that zone, I am doing pretty well in terms of my XRP trade, as long as it's not going to go way above our current structural resistance, then I'm a happy camper. If it goes below, if it goes above that, sorry, then obviously we'll have to potentially change it up and see what we're able to do. But 0.24%, so nothing crazy, but we will want to see the price stick below that zone for us to still have this trade on and still have this trade be a valid price action pattern for us to still hold within our trade. But if it does go above here and start to bounce around this area, then we're now back above the previous support, new resistance, which is now going to be a new level of support. So we will obviously want to see how BTC reacts. It is testing to make a new higher high. Not seeing a whole lot of volume coming to the market here. We'll see how it goes. If we do retrace and come back and close around here, could be a nice no demand candle. If the candle after this current 5-minute is going to be a bearish candle or a bearish engulfing, that would make this a no demand, which would be a very favorable candlestick pattern to close off for our shorts. So we'll see how it goes here. Not going to do too much. We've already set our trade, so there's not much more to do. Okay, that was a potential no demand. If this next candle closes bearish, that's a no demand candle. We're trying to get the bulls to push up. We're not able to. We're seeing decreasing buy volume coming into the market on the 15, on the hour chart. We still got half an hour to go, but this is a nice little retest of this zone. We're seeing a reduction in volume. We're seeing a squeeze in the volume. Overall, it's looking pretty good on the 5, 15, and 1 hour chart for our trade. But like always, we do not know exactly what's going to happen. We can speculate. We have made our bet, but we are not exactly 100% certain. So we will want to let this trade play out. Not move the stop loss too low, not try to take profits or anything until we have the price kind of go towards our lower zone. Risk reward of maybe 3, 4, 2.5 kind of at the minimum, maybe 2 at the bare minimum. But, you know, we do see a nice level of support around here where the risk reward is at a 3, 3.5, maybe 4. So if the price does turn around here, we could get that nice drop to that zone. But right now, we are still seeing the bulls gain back control and try to push up the price above our current resistance that we have here. XRP is doing pretty well. The bears are able to push and keep this price below a certain zone, and other alts are as well. So overall, we are seeing the bears still have significant control of the price. But for Bitcoin, we do see that the bulls are trying to get that price to push above the previous structure high right here, which would then probably push XRP to then the high, the next high that we're seeing. So if that is the case, we might, if the price does break above here, and if we see BTC hold above that zone, we might be taking a little bit of positions off just to limit our risk a little bit, because then BTC will have a decent probability that we're at least going to these highs, and I don't really want to be holding that whole way. And that could just be a false trend line that we are setting for ourselves. There are other trend lines that theoretically I'm sure could be drawn. That was definitely the most respected in this current structure that we have within the 5 and 15 minute, in my personal opinion. Definitely very, very easily noticeable ascending trend line that we're currently seeing. But we have placed our bet. BTC is gaining a little bit more buy volume here, a little bit more than I thought. I definitely thought after the break to the upside, we would get some level of a resistance, of a retest here, which is not a problem. But we are pushing back above the resistance that I did not think that we would get above, even though we're not seeing a lot of buy volume. So this hasn't closed yet, so we don't have full confirmation. But as the time ticks here, we are not really getting that sell pressure to push that price down. So we'll see what BTC does, and then we'll see what XRP does. We've already placed our stops and whatnot, so we're kind of in that trade regardless. But let's hope we get the bears to keep that price below that certain area, because that would be nice to see. The seller is coming back at the end of this candle here in the last minute of this 5-minute candle, showing their heads here, giving a little bit more pressure to the downside. No toilet paper, no basketball, and another rigged DN. Thoughts on what? Anything I'm missing? Yeah, shit's been happening. Some people are. This is just a Discord that we currently have in the just general discussions. Zampano 53. So we've gone from trade war to coronavirus to oil price war, global pandemic, no toilet paper, no basketball, and another rigged candidate's thoughts on what might be next. That is funny. Yeah, who knows? It's been a crazy 2020 so far, to be completely honest. So we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited for what the future holds. Bearish, bullish, at the end of the day, I just like following financial markets. I think it's very interesting. I think there is a ton of stuff happening that is going to shift the next 20, 30 years, even 10 years. So it's like we're living in a very pivotal point in history. All right, so we're getting some hesitation from the buyers of Bitcoin here, holding that resistance. We did get a rejection all the way back down. The candle closed red, meaning that the previous candle, the bullish candle, was actually a no demand, giving us a potential signal that there could be now a shift in supply and demand, where the sellers are now going to take over the market compared to the buyers, pushing the price back down. Now, if that is the case, we are at a pretty good spot to be seeing some volatility here to the downside, because we made a move to the downside. This is our correction, this is our pullback, this is our exhaustion, this is our market breath before the next major push. And as we can see, obviously we have major momentum and strength to the downside. So if we do see some momentum start to come back into the market, I do think that the momentum will be carried pretty significantly, because we've already seen so much momentum to the downside. So we'll see how it goes. We've already entered, so there's not a whole lot more to talk about here. Quick question for off topic. Do you know how you're only allowed 3 trades per week under 25K? Yep. I'm surprised BTC's not dumping as fast yet. I think this might be the candle, but yeah, there's 3 rejections there. I'm surprised we haven't seen a dump yet, at least to this zone. I'm definitely surprised about that. But we'll see. It's holding that zone pretty well here. Sellers are, you see with the wicks here, pushing the price back down, but buyers are able to keep it within this range. So it's not like there's no buyers. There's definitely, we can see buy pressure within this area. Got to keep that in mind. But we will have confidence within our trade. Not going to change anything, but that does look pretty potentially bearish, but we see a few no demand candles. Not really. You know, in here we did. That was a no demand candle. That was a not really no demand because it's not at a resistance. So we'll see what this one comes down to. We're not seeing a tremendous amount of no demand there. And on the XRP side, we are seeing no demands quite a bit within that previous little pump up. So that's good to see for XRP, seeing that there is a lack of demand, which is good for our short. BTC is not seeing that as much, but it does look like it's holding our previous support, new level of resistance pretty well. So it's just a matter of if we're going to be able to see a dump down or not. And if that momentum will continue, I do think that sellers are going to be pretty well right on top of it, because obviously we've seen a massive move to the downside. So we're going to have a lot of people try to carry that momentum. A lot of people are already up. They're going to add. People who are longing are going to have not a lot of confidence because it's already gone down so much. So we'll just patiently wait here. Might close this off to make a TikTok. We'll see how it goes within the next couple candles here. I would like to catch a potential break to a downside on the YouTube live, but we'll see where it goes. SPY's down 8.35% today. Holy shit. Link's down 31% in total. Wow, SPY's down. That's a lot for SPY, man. Yeah, that's a tough hold if you're a long-term investor. Look how flat that is. And look at the volatility. It's insane. 26, holy shit, you're literally losing half or a quarter of your account. My god. Yeah, that's a tough thing to swallow. It's a tough pill to swallow, man, but that's investing. Long-term investor can't manage risks, you just gotta hold on for dear life. Alright, so I'm gonna get something to eat here, so I will leave, but I'll leave the YouTube live on in case the market does something worth noting, worth capturing. I'd like to have that captured. I have my stop loss where I have it, 16,791. If it goes above that zone, automatically I'm going to get taken out of the position. Also, I did give the price a little bit of more room in terms of the spread, just because we're in a very volatile time. You see what happened to Link. I don't want that happening to me, to be honest. So I'm going to always set a little bit wider of a stop, so I'm really going to be ensured that I'm going to get filled in case disaster happens. So we'll see where it goes in terms of the price. I think it looks more bearish. We just made a lower high, in my view, and now we're going to make a lower low, breaking the previous market structure support, which is our low. So we're going to make a lower low. Beyond that, it's going to hit stop losses. It's going to push the price further down. We'll see how it goes, but in my personal view, it does look more bearish on the short-term time frames. 4 hour, obviously not a whole lot to see. 15-minute, it's looking pretty good. You know, we're seeing decreasing volume coming into the market. That is a no demand at that previous candle there. So we'll see what that comes down to. This current candle is going to be a no demand if we see it hold where it currently is with not much more coming in. But we are seeing a little bit more buy volume coming into the market right now here. Not a whole lot, but definitely a little bit more interest here. As we can see, a little bit of a pop-up up to the key level of resistance. So it's just a matter of we're going to hold. I'm not going to lower my stop loss right now at this point. I'm going to keep it where it is because I think that a wick could be something that we have to watch out for. I don't want to get taken out just with a wick. We see BTC on the new 5-minute candle seeing a little bit more bullish volume coming into the market, but the sellers are still present. But if we get above this zone, I'm not going to be loving where the price is. So I'm really hoping that we're going to reject below this area and hold below this zone. I would really like to see that, because right now we're not really up anything. We're like what, up like 0.7%, 0.8%. So like obviously we're not going to really be taking any profits anytime soon. So it's just a matter of, do we want to reduce our risk from 2.4 to something maybe a little bit smaller, a little bit more manageable, maybe 1.5. But you know, with BTC where it is, I'm gonna not do that. Actually, I'm gonna maybe move it a little bit lower, just here, maybe at 2%, because at 2.4 last time I think it was 2.4, yeah, 2.4. So I think I'm gonna move it down a little bit, just so it's at 2. This is so close to breaking. It's just this little thing right here that it needs to break, right there. And if it goes above it, well then it's breaking the consolidation, right? This hopefully is going to be the volume distribution, and then there's going to be the mark down phase. Hopefully that's going to come soon enough. That is the goal for this trade anyways. So hopefully the price sticks below that zone. I'm going to move the stop loss down a little bit, just so we're at like maybe 2%. Okay. So I'll explain that to the Discord here. Move my stop loss just a little bit further down. Right from right here to right here. Just changed it up a little bit, giving everyone updates what I'm doing.
My fragrance of the day.
Okay, it's just a matter of if we're going to hold below this zone here. Looks like we are holding it, but like always, we want to wait until the candle closes. We got 2 minutes left until the 5-minute closes. And 12 more minutes until the 15, so we got a little bit of time. But it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty favorable for our trade for now. Not going to be emotional or anything. Okay, well, not much to go off of here. Made a lower low. That's really good to see. I think at this point we can reduce our risk a little bit more now. Pushing it back to, again, this low. A little bit further down. Just so we're behind, well under this resistance here. So I lowered it to now 1.53. It was, I believe, at 2. So I do think that we are starting our lower low, lower high formation where we're going to dump hopefully soon, it seems like. That is definitely the goal of this trade here. So I think I will move my stop loss because it was at 16,729, 16,7. Yeah, so I'm going to move it down a little bit more. Just okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. And
He's still here? Then I'll just say bye again.
yeah, that makes sense.
No barking.
Oh, it's my bean bean. Yeah, it's her. It's my bean. So much more. Look at these steps.
Hmm? You want to do that big every night? You do it every night. No, it's less often and it makes it bigger.
No, bean. I'll look up. Hot. Ow! Yeah, these things always fucking. I step on them so often, and he bites into a fucking crisp, so they're hard and like pointy. Come on, Mike.
I like it too, Bean. Big time.
Mhm. Well, it's not looking too bad. Almost at the risk reward of 2 to 1. So that's pretty good. But, and I'm personally going to wait until that 2 to 1 gets hit at a minimum, and then I'll take that 25% off right there. Pretty happy with that. Move my stop loss basically right to break even, and basically call it a managed trade at that point onwards. You know, we're getting close to it. We got around 0.73 left until we hit that risk reward of 2 to 1, and then we'll take off 25% and move that stop loss basically just below our entry point. So we're just at break even, basically covering commissions and fees and all that stuff. And our first target profit will be hit shortly here, it seems like. Okay, I bought back a little bit just at that candle closure because I'm pretty happy with that at my first level take profit here. So I'll move that just up to there. Then I'm moving my stop loss to now below break even. So let's do that right now. Let's see if we're going to get that rejection here. A lot of bullish pressure here, surprisingly. Don't know if you can hear me for the people who have asked a question. So we got two questions. What is your confirmation to enter a trade when it hits support/resistance? So to answer your question, my confirmation to enter a trade, not just support and resistance, but just in general, my confirmation to enter a trade, I have three things I'm mainly looking at. Number one is going to be market structure. Is it making higher highs and higher lows? Is it making lower highs and lower lows? Or is it consolidating, not really making higher highs or lower lows? Number one. So I want to see the market structure go the direction of my trade. Number two, I'm looking for price action. I'm looking for a price action pattern that allows me to limit my risk and have an edge in the market. So I'm looking for symmetrical triangles, ascending, descending, channels, wedges, head and shoulders, reverse head and shoulders, all that stuff. And the last thing I'm looking for is VSA, which is volume spread analysis. What we're doing is comparing the supply and demand and building a relationship with the price action through the supply and demand. And then we're combining it all together, like I said, with the price action and market structure to create a story for our trade. And that's how we trade within the markets. Sometimes I buy too early and end up on a loss. Yeah, that happens. In trading, you will lose. It is inevitable. But it's just making sure that you are able to manage your trades and manage your losses so you know how much you're losing each time. You have a set amount of risk that you are putting on maximum at any given trade. So you're not randomly just throwing in $100 here, $1,000 there, $500 there. You're specific and systematic in the way you approach position sizing and your risk. Very, very important. And then Gibson West said, hey, I just joined the stream. Welcome to our stream. We're currently in a XRP or Ripple paired with US Tether short on the 5-minute chart here. We took some profits here on the first take profit 2-1, and then we got our 3-1 take profit, which is phenomenal. And now we are trying to get to the next leg down to form that lower low, coming to the support zone right here. Maybe 3.5 or 4-1 risk reward would be the ideal situation for us to be looking. So it's looking pretty favorable for us right now. We made a lower low. This could be the lower high that we could be looking for. And other than that, we will see how the market reacts. It's looking pretty good so far. The trade is very in our favor. We've already taken take profits, and we have basically put the risk. So we no longer have any risk on the table because the stop loss is now just below our entry point, guaranteeing us profits no matter what. So we have exposure to the downside with no risk on the table. Always a good position to be in, especially when we're seeing a major bear move like BTC has seen right now. So we'll see how this price reacts right now. We did break this level of support here where the candle closures were occurring, and then now we have the price holding below the previous support, turning it into a new resistance. So we'll see if we're able to get another leg and push down here. On the daily chart, we are holding a level of support, but at the end of the day, I think that these zones are going to attract price back, and we will get some level of a move if we start to see that momentum start to come into the market again, because we've already seen the push down. This could be a nice little pullback, validating this little support here as a new level of resistance before our next leg down, forming a lower low. So we'll see how it goes. Overall, it's still looking very bearish. We obviously don't want to be longing at this point in time. We're mainly just wanting to be looking for shorts, looking at BTC, seeing if we're able to get that next leg down. We do see some higher lows within the wicks there and some lower highs. So we are squeezing, gonna have a reaction soon. It's just a matter of if we're gonna have this as our support and bounce above our previous resistance, which is now going to be a potential support if it does bounce up, so we'll want to get out. Or is it going to push down lower, hold this resistance, and maybe test this low here, or even go beyond, go below the 5570 zone, and then reach down into the 5300s. Then obviously our XRP trade will be doing phenomenal. So we will want to definitely take more profit when we get to these deeper zones further lower down into our take profit area. So it's looking pretty good. Just seeing how the price is going to react to our zones here. don't want to take profits too quickly, but also want to be able to take profits when we should, like we're doing now. So overall, trade management has been pretty stellar in my opinion so far. We haven't done a whole lot. Basically, trade management, a lot of it is just sitting and waiting until the price does what you kind of want it to, and having the discipline to not act just randomly, and being aware of your actions. Very, very important. So we're going to let the price continue on. We see the price still consolidate within our zone here. So, we'll see where it goes. We're not going to try to force anything. We're going to let the trade play out. We're going to let the trade do its thing. We don't exactly know how it's going to get from point A to point B. We don't need to. We got to trust in the system, trust in the process, and basically let the trade kind of do its thing here. So, getting a little bit of a pullback here. It's just a matter of if we will hold this level of support or if we won't. It's got a double bottom on the 4-hour. Not much sell pressure here on that bearish push to the downside. Not phenomenal, but we'll wait it out. We're up around just maybe 5% here. So pretty good. No complaints about the 5%, that's for sure. So we'll see where it goes.
just find, like, I don't know what food there is.
Oh, wait.
But yeah, of course.
I'll turn it off.
Just asking what to do. I know the coronavirus outbreak is scary. I know the stock market crash is scary. But, you know, you do have to kind of think, what can you do to get through this? Because in a few weeks, in a few months, it will be over. That's the good news. The bad
Crazy shit still happening here. Let's look at gold real quick. Still at the lows. SPY had its worst trading day. Fucking brutal, mate. Jesus God. So we are going to continue the hold on our short here, and I'm going to turn off this YouTube live because only really one person watching at this point. And for those who do have any questions, definitely drop them in the comment section below, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you have. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you got something out of this YouTube live. Got a great trade overall. We captured 2 out of the 4 take profits so far. Risk reward of 2, risk reward of 3 already captured. We got a stop loss already below our entry point, so we are guaranteed profits no matter what. So overall, it's a great position to be in, and we're just going to see if we're able to make that next lower low to come in. If not, we've already secured profits with our 2 take profits, so we are looking pretty phenomenal. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, have a good one.